We know the corrupt politicians, the deep state, the private Western central bankers are now stuck in what we've predicted since the very beginning. See, we predicted there was going to be inflation and that these markets were going to come down and that there was going to be high gas prices and war, that they needed a cover story to hide behind. You see, we knew their plan. We had their playbook. That's why we've been able to give it to you ahead of time. We knew what was going to happen because we knew their agenda. Their agenda was to bring us into the Great Reset. You see, this is why the last several years, the people saw the process of this whole entire thing playing out and being set up. You see, we were once set up for the first time in history to be energy independent and to never rely on another country for its resources and oil. We were set up to have full employment and jobs out the wazoo, money out our pockets, and an economy that was raging, and the taste of that is still on the people's tongues. You see, we had low inflation then. We changed trade deals. We cut tax, implementations that benefited the people. And now in the same exact economy, the people are seeing none of that. They're suffering, as a matter of fact. Everything that these individuals, these corrupt politicians, the deep state, the private Western central bankers, it's not benefiting you. They're acting like they got this, though. Everything's A-okay. Well, it is for them, but is it for you? See, we all have the economy in common. And people now can see the difference. And as we move forward, people are gonna see more and more of what's truly going on. What has been happening. You see, what is happening is the entire system is crumbling right in front of the people's eyes. And the patriots of the world, they can see this. And as it turns, and it sheds its skin like a snake, yes, the people are going to hurt. But they're going to be able to see what these individuals have been trying to do. And the people are going to want to do the exact opposite of that. You see, people are walking in pain, and they're walking on coals, burning hot coals. And when people go through pain, they demand change. It's the Hegelian dialectic. Remember, it was all planned to get you to react to the problem that they created so they can implement their solution. You see, we got to remove the deep state, the private Western central bankers, the corrupt politicians, the system. See, we don't need anybody outside of ourselves to tell us what to do when we're the presidents of our own reality. Can I get a hello? We don't need a Federal Reserve, a private Western central bank to tell us what to do with our money. We don't need a system. We are the system. This entire system is indoctrination that keeps us trapped in these 9-to-5s, just over brokes that we call jobs. Keep us in these education systems where we get a piece of paper in the end that is, well, worthless. Only to end up working at a restaurant to make more money waiting tables. Slinging drinks at a bar. See, the system is broken. And it's time for us to create our own system. See, it's about bringing this entire system down. But people don't understand what's really happening and going on, the true agenda of the corrupt politicians, the deep state, the government, which is honestly a term that stems from governares mentes, which means to govern the mind. You don't need nobody governing your mind. See, people can see this now. We were just energy independent. Low gas prices. Didn't rely on other countries for oil. And now we're seeing energy crises, food raging. baby formula shortages, etc. And they're all blaming it on COVID and Putin, blaming anyone and everything else but themselves, and how they've been the cause of this since like 1913. You know, we're seeing this play out time and time again throughout history. Chaos throughout this 7-year sabbatical cycle. And what happens when the people say no more? When they say we don't need anyone outside of ourselves anymore. You see, all the people that wanted to get into cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, they didn't have a chance when it was at 69K. But now that it's at 22K, it's looking mighty nice and setting pretty on our 33 chart that we did a whole episode around, the 137 being the 33rd prime number, 33% downs, 33 days apart, etc. We see another 33% decrease down to $22,220 right now as we speak in the 2020 year. Call it organic synchronicity. So we'll add another 33 to our chart. But I'm hoping it will go down to 9,000, where we see our VPVR is just setting mighty pretty at. We got orders set at, that's dropped down to 7,000 now, 7,300. That'd be mighty nice. We got orders set to accumulate at 9,900. So, we'll see what happens, you guys. We can't be greedy, right? But that would be a great opportunity for people to get in and step away from this system that they've had us trapped in. People are screaming, don't go digital, that's a trap. What? It's kind of where they're pushing us anyway with the metaverse and everything. You better get ahead of the game. They're transitioning the SWIFT system, the UN Agenda 2030. Go and do your research on ISO 20022 compliancy for your banks. You better get a ticket on this shuttle. The train's already left the station. Rosie Rios told us that. Her name's on all the damn money. If it drops to 9,000, 7,000, it's still 9,000 times more valuable than your fucking dollar. Right now, it's at 22,000. It's still 22,000 times more valuable than your dollar. Remember, the volatility is gonna be here. We're in a highly speculative asset, and this volatility is being caused on purpose. They don't want people looking at these alternative currencies. They want you scared and flooded out of these markets. Oh my God, it's at 20,000. Well, it was just at 69,000. This is a pretty healthy pullback of some much needed retesting ranges of 2020 that we never retested. Almost 2 years ago. What are you doing when it dips, when it goes up? Are you taking advantage of the volatility swings? Most people do not. They panic and they freak out. Or they scream at the top and they say, I'm never gonna sell diamond hands. What the fuck does that mean? You know what I'm saying? Have a diamond mind. That's what we're teaching here on the Daily Candle Close News. You see, the stock market and the cryptocurrency market is literally crashing. And there's no reason for this except for the fact that it's self-induced, a controlled demolition of the system. They are literally transitioning the old guard into the new guard, just like 1961, pushing us into the new economy, the quantum financial system in the digital decade. And we're right here at the 14th and the 15th of June, right here, the number one idea, the capitulation and the sell-off right here, so the feds could come out, look like the hero. We go over this at their next FOMC meeting tomorrow at 2 o'clock. And we know that there's talks all around investors and Wall Street of the feds wanting to come out and implement and boost interest rates by 3/4 of a point, a 75% basis point rate increase. That is going to be very important for pioneers to take a note of, because that is a sign for the smart money, the uncommon 1%, the pioneers here on the Daily Candle Close News, as a sign and potential to get out. Not financial advice. But could we see potential rally over the next few days because the feds want to come save the day into a bull trap, into lower lows in the structure? Who knows? That's what happened last time we talked about this. Because as they continually push these rates up, they are telling us at the same time this is going to control inflation. They got this. What? Go back and look in time throughout history and see what that has done. It damn sure ain't helped with inflation, and it's damn sure only hurt the people. But remember, the Fed's mandate is to make sure the value of the currency stays afloat. And it's not with inflation, especially not with hyperinflation, and high gas prices, and high grocery prices, and high lumber. And we need to make sure it doesn't lose its purchasing power and spending ability of the people. Make sure everyone's employed at the same time. Those are your only two jobs, Federal Reserve. And it looks like you've been failing at this for months, years as a matter of fact. Could you keep your job if you did that? You see, since COVID-19, COVID, which means creating our vision in detail, which is something a lot of us haven't been doing, but we're still missing like 5 million plus of our jobs. What's going to happen when we're in a short-time recession? It's not going to drag out over years like they want you to believe. It's going to be short-term and only hit sectors. We know this. The government doesn't come out and tell you that, hey, by the way, the recession started at 9:11 p.m. today. Oh, that's very symbolic to some things we'll discuss later. Pay attention to that. Not surprising, right? What they're going to do is tell you months from now that, hey, by the way, the recession was in the beginning of 2022. That's how this works. So if the Fed is going to raise rates and we don't see inflation move down, the people are really going to start to question this system when they start to hurt even more. Because when they raise it up a potential another 75% basis points, that's really going to affect these markets. And it's not going to help. Okay? Obviously, they're clearly saying they want people at the real estate market. Okay? Housing market crisis coming soon. You don't want people driving cars anymore because gas is now $6+ on the eastern coast of North Carolina. Gas just hit $123 a barrel today. Let us pray. Come on now. Getting stopped out with a false breakout above our 786. We need to pay attention to that. We're retesting this 702, the golden pocket. That's very important. See, they want you driving in electric vehicles that cost $50,000, $60,000. How are you going to afford that? Oh, going in on debt and credit plans for, 30+ years, never paying it off. See, it's clearly impossible. It's meant to damage you. Think about all the corporations that are going to start to contract and start to lay people off and start to shut businesses down. This is all part of their plan. See, they thought they'd be able to do it with a cover story, with a war, with a large narrative, with the bear flu crisis. They thought people would still be in their house, wearing their mask. They hoped you fucking died. But they didn't account for the patriots coming out and exposing their playbook because they already had it. We've seen it happen time and time again throughout history. We know what happens when an empire falls. You see, since they're not getting a cover story, the people can actually see what's going on. They can clearly see what's happening. And when the Fed can't control what is happening and they're front and center on the world stage for everyone to see, the patriots of the world to see, oh, this is trouble for them. They are panicking right now. You see Biden, the resident in the White House, the other puppet masters that are pulling the strings behind the scenes like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. We ain't in Kansas no more, Toto. People are starting to really realize no one's out to save them. Your job's not going to give you a raise. We're in the same exact economy we just had. What happened? Implementations and policies put into place that don't benefit you. But see, you got to pay attention. Instead of scrolling on your phones and your TikToks and your WAP videos and your sporting events. Because that's why you're feeling this pain right now, demanding change, falling into the Hegelian dialectic. You see, no one enjoys pain. That's something they all have in common. Everybody has the economy in common too. And no one enjoys an economy that sucks. So people are going to want to start to transition their funds into something else, like gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, other non-inflationary assets that are going to rise over time as we get hit with this inflation. Why do you think cryptocurrencies is the very first asset class since the 1600s? They designed it to fall into it behind the scenes without you even knowing it. That's why crypt is a Latin word that stems from hidden, secret, okay? Crypto, it is their money. They want you using central bank digital currencies stuck in their private Western central banking system. So cryptocurrencies and gold, it is the blockchain system, don't get me wrong. But as it's getting harder for people to transition, would you rather have transitioned into Bitcoin at 69K a coin or at 22,400? 22,100 right now. You would kind of want it to be the lowest it can be for you to transition your currency into these alternative currencies that are protective against and hedges against inflation. And I'm not saying go sell your house, sell your car, trade in your wife, and invest everything you got into cryptocurrencies. You know, don't dig out what you got under your mattress. Just take portions at a time and buy these dips like we've been doing, and dollar cost averaging into these dips, so that over time we can protect ourselves. It's like an insurance policy. You have insurance on your car, your homes, your boats, your phones. Some people have insurance on their body parts. Athletes that have insurance on their legs and stuff, in case something goes wrong. What if something goes wrong with the economy? What are you doing to make sure that you're insured? What protects you? Well, here on the Daily Candle Close News, we're teaching what protects you. You protect you. Your mindset protects you. All our pioneers know the instruments that protect them and against the rate of inflation and against the US dollar, a dying currency. People are really starting to notice this as time goes on. They're going to start to also realize that they can take a portion of their time, that's what money really is, that they've earned, and put it into something that's going to protect and grow over time, so it's not wasted, because I can't get that time back. You see, if you go to Coinbase right now or any other exchange, 82+% of people right now are not selling. They're loading onto the exchanges, loading and purchasing cryptocurrencies because they understand what is happening. They're the uncommon 1%. You got to be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. And right now others are fearful and panicking. Over time you will get the knowledge and you will get the money. And in the end you will succeed. We're going to see this ship potentially continue to sink because it's self-induced. It's a controlled demolition of the old system to implement the new system, cryptocurrencies. The digital economy. We know what happens when a fiat currency dies, and we're witnessing fiat currency die right in front of our eyes. Remember, there was just a coin shortage. They were telling you, beware, we're running out of coins. Give us all you got. And people fall for these narratives. Don't fall victim to the nonsense and the minutia and monotony the news tells you. They're trying to push the same exact agenda over and over, and we've seen this throughout time. And they're never out here to help you. And we see everything dropping and going down in the cryptocurrency market and all other markets right now. And we see the S&P 500 right now is selling off. And we see yields are spiking as if S&P's not. We see gold right now is going down as if inflation isn't even a thing. It's non-existent. But as we, again, look at the oil prices that just hit a high of $123 today, sitting at 117 right now, very important. Bitcoin equals 117. You know, none of this is really making a lot of sense, because right now we know a minimum of 8.6% inflation is hitting us. It's higher than what everyone expected, except for us pioneers here. We know that's not the real rates, that's just what they give us. They're underreporting it. And the craziest thing is, the dollar currency index is still whipping and roaring out of this cup and handle pattern that we prepared you for here on the Daily Candle Close News, that we could see potentially break up to this $119 range, that 115 range. Lucifer, 115, the light bearer. We know how important that is. So we know this dollar is ripping and roaring and raging havoc on our purchasing power and spending ability. So when people were saying nothing adds up, it's all crazy, that there's no video you can watch to get a better understanding, well, yeah, you can watch this one. It's the 7-year sabbatical cycle, the Shemitah. We're in pure market chaos. We're seeing craziness as a common denominator all around the board. And in the end, we still have people in power saying we got this under control. The fuck they do? Everything we've had up on the screen here shows you that none of it makes sense, except for those here on the Daily Candle Close News that know who they are and in tune with their truer self and keep one foot inside the matrix and one foot out, who know the game so they can't be played. Well, they know what's going on. But if you're someone who needs pictures, I guess, to understand what's going on, well, you know, I can get my 10-year-old son to draw you a better picture too. You know, we see cryptocurrencies going down and down and down. On average, from 24 to 23 to 33, 39% down on average. You know, they're almost at a darker shades of red that they can use to portray fear for people. You know, they might as well just use black, you guys. You know, the White House is out here now saying they're watching the stock market closely. It's like, why ain't you been doing it for the last 2+ years like us here on the Daily Candle Close News? You don't need a degree. What? Pay attention to what's going on. Don't get lost and confused. Don't follow the news. It's a broken compass meant to keep you distracted, lost, broken, and confused. It's all making sense right here in the 7-year sabbatical cycle. Very important. You know? Undeniable. We can't get lost in the minutia and the monotony. As we continue to look at more cryptocurrency charts, we see this was a very important time period, and this was a trend line going back in time when we followed it to the wicks of every touch point. This was our Mercury station in retrograde boxes right here. We know how important that was. This was boring, leading to a pump that was very manipulated and capitulated into a little sell-off right here, okay? We know why. We went over this. We hit the 223, rejected from the 32,200 range. Okay, so very important. But this is showing us a clear pump back up today on the 14th to retest the bottom side of this trend line. So that's very important right now. Very indecisive moment to pay attention to. So we'll continue to look at this chart and see if we can get back above that trend line and start to close. Daily candle closes above, 22.7, 22.5. Very important. Anything above 22.4 right now, that's where we'd like to hold. That 22.4 for Bitcoin is, of course, tying us when we look at numerology and gematria, and we tie it back to Satoshi Nakamoto. We're getting that 224. So 22,400 is where we'd like to see consistent daily candle closes above right now. To show us, something to look forward to. Are we building a consolidation range, an accumulation range, or, are we going to get a bounce from here that takes us into a rally with a potential bull trap? Things we'll discuss. So very important. Let's continue to look at what we saw earlier. Again, same thing right here. We talked about this range, these liquidity clear-out zones and bull traps, bear trap ranges that we could see a potential spike up to if we were to be able to clear this liquidity range to get higher to the next liquidity range. But we ended up swiping through this lower liquidity range, filling in this wick. We knew that was possible. We know this couldn't possibly be the bottom, but we were able to take advantage of it using Bitcoin to, trade the altcoins. and take advantage of this bull trap that we saw at 32,200. So again, using Bitcoin as the market compass here. We know it is the sun, it is Sol, it is Helios, it is Ra. It gives the overall energy for the cryptocurrency market and its flow. So very important. And look, in our last video we shared with you how important this time frame was of December 2020, and it's taken us right back to this $22,030 range, which was by accident that we clicked this here. And look at how well we're closing right now above that. We closed right below it yesterday, swiped right down to it. So very important. And now we're holding support right above that $22,030 range. So again, that very eso and exoteric 322223 Brotherhood of Death, Skull and Bones, Order 322 connection, our favorite lizard pals that we know are from Yale University. So very important. We love to make these connections, undeniable, and the only person in the world making these connections. Take a lot of pride in that, you guys. Something you can use moving forward. So again, we know now that we are below this 22,300 range and holding support above that $22,030 range, we're going to keep an eye on that. So very important. We're going to see this $19,000 potential retest, or a potential retest of 16K if this was to continue to go down even lower. And we discussed earlier where the VPVR has been at around that $9,900 range, and now around that $70-something hundred range. So very important. If we were to see that, a major grateful buying opportunity for Bitcoin, something we're going to be dollar cost averaging into if we're able to get that low right here. So very important. Making some initial dollar cost averages into this asset now to pick up our first Satoshis that we're going to hold for the long term. So very important that we're taking note of this. Again, Bitcoin hit a 69K top, you guys, right here. We just talked about how this was a 69-70 day time period in our last video, and we led to this low that is now down 69%. Undeniable and just esoteric and by a code. You truly cannot make this stuff up, you guys. So let's do a little bit of technical analysis and continue to compare this to some time periods that we've seen. You know, we've seen these similarities between June and July of last year, and so I don't want to exaggerate that and sound like a broken record. We know what's to possibly play out from here. We will draw a bars pattern right here, and we'll go from this June low to our July low, and we'll just take this time period. And if we were to get an automatic rally right here because the feds want to come in and save the day right here around tomorrow, the 15th of June, very important. We know we're in the year of the tiger. So, that's the Jupiter striped planet. Jupiter's the tiger striped planet. We're in the year of the tiger, so we pay attention to this 2 and this 4, this 24 connection. So being in the year of Jupiter, or the year of the tiger, it's giving us that 15. So tomorrow when the Fed meets, it's on the 15th. So very important. We're definitely paying attention to the markets tomorrow. Could they come in and try and save the day like they've done previously before, to give us a potential bounce back up to the bottom side of this trend line before getting a rejection over the next several days? Again, don't view this as something's going to happen real quick. Again, nothing's going to happen overnight in these markets, and I don't know how many more ways I can share with you all and connect with you all how important this 7-year sabbatical cycle is, or how this market plays out over time in the long term. Again, never keep a short-term mind frame in this market. It's not good, okay? Unless you're, scalp trading or on smaller time frames, day trading, etc. Not going to say anything bad about that. But we could potentially see this drag out into July lows again, potentially around the full moon in July, retesting this bottom. That could this be the potential bottom. We're still going to have to wait and see and give this market plenty of time to play itself out. But this possible relief rally that we are definitely overdue for, you guys, is something we need to take into consideration. So let's get rid of that. and see if we can find a clearer chart where we can pull up some of the moving averages. Yeah, let's go right here to one of these clean charts. We know we're still retesting this 1618, which is a great reaccumulation period. You know, we did swipe down all the way to that. So very important, something we talked about in the last video. It just depends on how we react to this level now. You know, again, our next level would, I mean, we can't go to the 2618 unless we see Bitcoin literally go to zero. And I don't believe that, you guys. I don't think we'd ever get back down to those opportunities. You know, 7,600, that potential $6,300 range would be, you know, as low as I ever saw this going again. We know throughout the history of Bitcoin, it's 9 times went back after a bull run back to 9K. So very important. So very important that we pay attention to that. So let's pay attention to some simple, okay, I'll have to go back to this chart and pull up my simple moving averages. Alright, we're going to pay attention to this on the weekly time frame as well. So yeah, pretty amazing, correct? You know, our recent $48,000, you know, right there, right before Satoshi Nakamoto's birthday, we get rejected from our 55 exponential moving average, or simple moving average, I'm sorry, on the weekly time frame. That led this all the way down into now our 8 smashing into this 200 simple moving average, and that's pretty bearish, you guys. We don't want to see that 8 cross that 200 simple moving average. That's downside implied. But again, how much can this continue to drain out? But you know, I mean, we're down 69%. We know it's not uncommon to see an 85% correction or more for cryptocurrencies. You know, the 88 would take us down to 7,700. You know, a 90% correction would take us down to 5,600, and a full 95% correction could take us down to that $3,200, possibly 3,200. Wow, you know, I can't even make that up. You know, that's just what we could see. Not shedding any hopium there for anybody trying to buy lower levels, or, you know, pushing fear. I'm just sharing with you, you know, if we were to see this pull back on the weekly time frame, a full 95%. So very important. But this 223 simple exponential moving average is right above this 200 simple moving average. So we're kind of in between there right now, and probably going to spend some time in between these two on the weekly time frame. But a push up above this and closes above these two moving averages, whether it's the simple 200 or the exponential 223, is going to show me, you know, some bullish signs for potential upward implied movement. So we know, yeah. So we want to just hold multiple daily closes and weekly closes above this range. So on the daily time frame, we want to close above 22,100, 22,200 in the 2022 year. So we want to see this continue to move up, and this 200 simple moving average is about to literally be at, it's about to literally, oh, it's at 223. Pay attention to right here, right now. It's literally setting at $22,300. So multiple weekly and daily closes above that right now is going to show me bullishness, and that this was clearly manipulated. So very important. We'll have to continue to see how this plays out in future videos. You know, the last couple of cycles on weekly closes, we did gravitate towards the bottom, you know, in the 2019 bear market bottom. You know, we've closed one weekly candle below the 200 simple moving average and below the 223 simple moving average, or the 223 exponential, sorry, crossing this 200 simple moving average. You know, we've only seen this very shortly, and that was right here around this manipulated C19 sell-off. You know, this is, you know, not important. We reset out of it in a matter of like 56 days. clearly a market reset. 100, 112, 111 days. It's so very important. Wow. We know the central banks, the Fed, they started printing a massive amount of money and repo liquidity injections and inflated the market in regards to the risk on assets, leading on to into the start of the Shemitah, which started back here on September. So very important right here. So, they started moving us into this risk off where they want people back into the dollar. That's why before Shemitah we go deflationary, and then that's why we see hyperinflation happen, and then we go deflationary again throughout the process. And we're seeing gas price go up a ton right now, and we've been warning people about that. It's only going to get worse. And this is something I've been trying to prepare my pioneers for since 2020, you guys, and before, only because I knew of this 7-year deflationary time period with the dollar. It doesn't necessarily mean the US dollar is getting stronger like it's showing. We're losing our purchasing power. Like, you can tell that when you see your groceries don't fill up a basket no more for $100. It takes $400. And your gas tank, it now costs $10 a gallon. You can see this. This 7-year sabbatical cycle has everything to do with this, where we start to see these currencies start to inflate highly, fastly over all around the world. The dollar rages war on these other currencies. They're all pegged to the dollar, and we're moving away from that into this new system. So I suggest you go and look at this, what we're talking about with the ISO 20022 and the implementation from the SWIFT system, the things we're talking about here, because it's very important you do your due diligence and stay prepared for what's to come. It's never too late to get prepared for the future. There's still time. We're still highly early. So very, very important. I've been in this market long enough to just disregard all the nonsense that everybody's talking about. I know we have so much more change and adoption that's coming into this cryptocurrency market. After the Shemitah is over and we move into the mid 2023 period, the 2024 period, anyone who had the right cryptos, before that moment, you're not even going to give a shit about any of these pullbacks we've seen recently. This is the Bitcoin dominance chart, but just one piece of analysis I wanted to share with you all regarding, just cryptocurrency and mind frame. Something that we can look at as this parallel channel that we, fell into, bounced up, came back, closed under, boom. This is again on the weekly time frame for Bitcoin dominance. And, we've just toyed with, and then now we broke above it, coming back to retest it. Let's see what happens. So definitely wanting to hold the top side or the heart line of this parallel channel. So very important. We know we had this. Let's look at this on the daily time frame. I can show you this a lot better. But this is going to help the altcoins, seeing Bitcoin's dominance that's just raged up to a high of, roughly 49%, right? 48.45. So very important. And now it's breaking back below this resistance that we treated as support. Now we failed to hold it as support. So that's dating back to this for the Bitcoin dominance, some time periods back in October, November, where we were, getting into our recent highs in the structure that came in November. So very important. We saw this, break out into a bull pennant, bull flag, break out into a rising wedge. So let's see how we retest this trend channel, and this line of support or resistance will determine what that is in the near distant future. So very important. One thing to note is we never really came back and retested this bottom side or the top side of this trend line when we had this falling, wedge, descending triangle, ascending, whatever you want to call this. I like to throw two lines up and go from there. Find the market closes versus the wicks, etc. Y'all know how we do things. We do it the opposite way of everyone else. So very important. Let's get rid of this moving average. But yeah, we saw this bull flag break out and anyway, and then take us all the way into this trading range, this rising wedge that we talked about. So very important. Let's see how we retest this 44 area for the Bitcoin dominance. But any downside implied movement for the Bitcoin dominance is really going to help your altcoins. Right now, when we look at Solana, we're down literally a full 93%. That's very important. Undeniable. We know cryptocurrencies. I warned you. We're at the 4236. We broke above it. I warned you. We're at higher levels that need to be executed, and you need to take advantage of this. And when we look at this and we look at the Fibonacci extension and retracement tools, and we add, let's say, our 0.5 fib, our 0.6 fib, let's see where we got to. I mean, we even extended the 0.6 fib, close to the 0.7 fib. Let's see if we got there. Alright, I'll just make a 0.7 fib right now. No, we didn't quite get there. But I mean, this is very overheated, Why would you stay in a market right here? We knew a 93% correction isn't uncommon for cryptocurrencies, especially speculative assets like these altcoins. So undeniable that we see this rejection coming in from this top side range, and now we're coming up around accumulation periods where we first got back into Solana. Like, we were able to execute this entire cycle and share with you potential ranges to de-risk your portfolio if you held this asset, not financial advice. We still held a quarter of our investment long term, and now we're about to repeat a cycle all over again, as long as our ranges get hit, like the $22 range in the 2022 year. Solana, which is Sol, the sun, okay, right there at 19. The 19th card in the Tarot deck is the sun card. Ra gives us 19. Ra is the ancient sun god. So very important. You see why we're doing this here? It's how we use this to execute that. We're in the year of the tiger. Let's take advantage of this $15 range and see if we can accumulate more Solana. And then of course 9, again, Sol is the sun. Sun gives you 9. So Solana, very important. We're paying attention to that. So do your research on the mythologies, or things like that. So very important. Undeniable, you guys. Just wanted to bring that up, something we haven't talked about in a while. Alright. Get a drink of my water, excuse me. Something to pay attention to on any relief if we were to get it for cryptocurrency. We'd have to go back to the weekly time frame. If we were to see any kind of relief come in, and we look at this simple moving average, this 55, we would potentially gravitate right back up to a potential bull trap of around this 43,000K range. Very important. We know 4 plus 3 is 7. We're in the 7-year sabbatical cycle. That is very, very important. So let's pay attention to this 8, and when it comes down here to cross this 200, if it gets to cross it to the downside, it's pretty bearish. So pay attention to that 8 as well. We don't usually stay below this 55 long. When this 8 crosses below this 55, we never really went below this 200. So very important, other than before this 200 came in the picture on the weekly time frame. So very, very important. Just not hopium, but just potential relief rally due to the fact that we have been completely oversold for a vast amount of time, several weeks now, and we're not seeing a rally come in. It's like watching a falling knife and just trying to catch the bottom. We advise against that, but we're highly skilled here in understanding this market isn't going to do exactly what we want it to do, so we take advantage of the opportunities that are given, that are present when we're present. Okay, so very important. Just the mind frame we're trying to teach here. That dollar or the U.S. oil is just trying to push back to that 119, that all-seeing eye, the eye of providence, you guys. We know how important that is. We make all the connections there with numerology and gematria. When we type that out, we know that ties us into the all-seeing eye. Very important. We know we talked about in the Fed's article where it talked about the 75% rate increase that's coming up. It came out at 9/11, the mirror 119, all seeing eye. That ties us into the motherboard that we live on, giving us that 119. It's all very eso and exoteric, but that, is something we've seen over time. The Iraq plane had the 119 on it. The government places 119 million order for 13 million freeze-dried moon keep. You see what I'm saying? The oldest lady in Japan, she lived to be 119 years old. The cryptocurrency Luna, we know it hit a high before selling off 100%. It hit a high of $119. So very important, undeniable, you guys. Just pay attention to this 119 range right here. Something I wanted to share with you all as well. All right. I had on the cover of this video, we're gonna get into it and do it. Boom. Before we get there though, XRP had an update earlier. It was down 3% the last 6 hours. 2, 3, 2, 2. Our skull and bones, pals. I had to. Just make that connection. I'm not doing this. They sent me that notification. Okay? So just very eso and exoteric, living organic synchronicity, letting it play out through the cards. But we had the NBA Finals on the cover of this video because we've been keeping up with it lately and sharing it in a few of our videos to pay attention to the blue and yellow, and they're up 3-2 in the series, heading into Game 6, going back to Boston. And we know Boston is something we've talked about, how they've been ritualistically sharing with you Boston as well, with Jason Tatum tying it in this 2022 year, being the second youngest player in history to get the same 1,500 points as Kobe Bryant did. So very important. We know that's all, again, tying us back into Jupiter's logo, the same 24. You see it right there on his jersey. We're in the year of the Tiger, the same 15. And then they told you in another one, after game 1 was won, and they told you it's all about the 18. We see the 108 drop the 0, you get the 18. I'm paying attention to that, how it's all about the 18. We'll see what's happening. This 7-year sabbatical cycle, though, is what this 18 that it's all about is really about. We know we're in the year of the Shemitah that this game is being played in. And you're getting that 18 right there. So undeniable that we know it's dropped to 0. You get that 7 that you saw in Jaylen Brown's jersey number. We're in the 42nd year anniversary of the Georgia Guidestones. There's that 42 right there Al Horford's wearing. So very important. So just paying attention to how this is going to continue to play out. Because we see in this recent video that is dropped out in 2022 about Bo Cruz, we see he ended up going to the Celtics wearing the double deuce, the 22, and we know the Celtics are in the NBA championship in the 2022 year. Is the elites telling you who's going to win through this movie? We don't know. We see the blue and yellow. Los Angeles Rams won, Kansas won, Ukraine's at war. Now the blue and yellow are in the NBA championship finals. We'll have to continue to see who wins. If we see the blue and yellow win, could it be because we're in the month of the Gemini Zodiac, which is all about the twins? And could we see Los Angeles have twin championships on the Bay Area? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. We know LA Dodgers, didn't they win the World Series last year? Or was it the Braves? I don't remember. I really don't. To be quite frank, I know a couple years ago the LA Dodgers were going back to back. I'm just watching how this is playing out, using this esoteric code, making connections for you all. This time period leading into June 24th, is going to be where we see 5 planets aligned for the first time in 18 years, you guys, and it's not going to be visible for another 18 years. Tying us into that 18, we getting Shemitah. Okay, so very powerful time period right now. We know today it is the super full moon, the pink full moon, and it's a time period where, get this, the moon is 15% bigger and brighter than usual. And what would you know, when you type out moon, you get 15? How about that? We know how important this 15 is because it's the year of the tiger. So very important, undeniable that we pay attention to the full moon energy tonight. So very important. Probably gonna leave this here, you guys. I've went over a lot of things, and I didn't touch I'll go ahead and reiterate on this. A little bit more on the Boston Celtics and Bo Cruz, thing. The movie was about Bo Cruz, and I found that very important because we're in the year of the 7-year sabbatical cycle, which gives us that 27, which is the year of Jupiter. Jupiter gives us that 27, or the 2 sevens. It's all about the sevens, right? But anyway, when you typed out Boston, Bo Cruz was wearing number 22. Boston gives you that 77 and that 22. And when you type out Celtics, it gives you that 22. So again, are the elites telling you who's gonna win? One other thing is, the Warriors, if they were to win this championship, the 75th NBA championship, well, they would improve their championship record and make it 7 wins, 5 losses. So very important. All matching right here at this time period. Again, the Fed's looking to end race to raise rates by a potential 75% basis points. So it's all playing out right here. This 75, this 22 connection right here, undeniable. So of course, we're gonna watch cryptocurrency closely because we know we get that 75 in cryptocurrency, undeniable. So again, with all that being said, I'm going to leave this here, try and get back out to get you some more video footage shortly, maybe today or over the next few days. I know I still want to touch base on some more altcoins and give you some more in-depth analysis on potential levels that we could see some of these altcoins, give us and bless us for a potential buying opportunity. But don't panic. Relinquish all fears and take care. God bless, pioneers. Rise and build your legacy. Build your fortress.